Hi everyone. So this is my second video and I know we did a whole switch up for this one. I have some in-person commitments today and I just wanted to look cute, so that's what we do today. And I really wanted to come on here for the next 30 days. I'm saying this for accountability because in the past there was resistance, and more so it was part of just having hesitation and having doubts and having these outplayed stories, but also the reality that discipline is necessary. Discipline is a key component of showing up. And honestly, there's a lot of factors right now that are not making it as easeful as I would like to do this, including I haven't had Wi Fi for over a year. And I thought it would be fine because I literally do everything through my hotspot. But I realized that for these uploads, I'm gonna need some Wi-Fi, especially at this pace at which I intend to release content. So bear with me on that, and I will be getting Wi-Fi very soon. Um, and I guess I just want to talk about my day so far. It's been such a beautiful day. It's been like, it just I feel like I'm on like just a high of life because first off, so I'm posting this a day later of recording, and specifically for the fact that I wanted to keep this to myself in the present moment and really just honor it before posting. So today is my last day of my 3-day fast. And if you know me personally, um, I love fasting. And I learned about this more so around 2020 when I was really becoming curious about just different healing modalities in terms of like integration and honoring the body and the body's role in holding these different, what we can consider spiritual concepts and spiritual gifts, because really it's mind, body, and spirit. If you are lacking in one, then there's going to be friction, or there's going to be some imbalance, right? And really what I've been going through these past years is fully embodying what it is to be in harmony in mind, body, and spirit. And I believe this is a lifelong journey. Like I don't think anyone's perfect. There's going, again, your moments of your humanity are going to come in, and there will be times where you may feel a little out of balance, or you may be focusing on one aspect a little bit more than the others. And also, for the time that we are in right now, for specifically for me, and I know for you as well, as someone who's watching this, there's this innate, deep desire to really master yourself. Be a master of your emotions, be a master of your craft, be a master of um, what else is there? You can master so many things. Mastering just the way that you show up in the world, um, mastering your schedule, mastering, your vessel, your body, right? Just mastery. And there's two sides to this, right? There's this idea that when you mastered something, that there might not be a need to continue because you're already a master, so to say. But the reality is that even if you get to a level at which you have a better grasp on, or better understanding, or just a deeper embodiment of, that doesn't excuse, or it doesn't give you a pass to stop being a student. And I think the best teachers are the ones that continue to learn and continue to have curiosity and continue to intentionally see the world from a child's eyes. Because when we're children, that's when we are our most expressive and open to possibility, and really just this feeling of freedom. And part of this harmony and integration of mind, body, and spirit is first, like, seeing life through your younger self, but also seeing life through what your older and future self would be or show up as. And also being at peace and loving who you are in this present moment. A lot of times we can get caught up in over here and over there, but there's beauty in all of these moments. And if you've been on this journey, and maybe you've heard someone say, oh, like, but you got to be present, like, you got to come back to the present, you got to be here. And yes, that's true. And also, there is value, and there is things that can be looked at and just brought to you by going into the past and the future. And this concept can go really deep, but on the surface, it can literally be, what did my younger self love to do? What did my younger self dress like? This is like, if you really just do not want to give any fucks, because, for me, I just had this thought come to my head of, like, I remember being, like, 5 years old, and I think that's usually the age where, like, you just want to do what you want to do. And I remember, like, I wanted to dress myself, and my mother, like, there was certain outfits where she's like, I can't let this child leave the house like that. And, like, I would argue with her, even until, like, the age of probably 8, or I think probably around 8, she'd let me, like, fully just dress myself. But I was very resistant, because I'm like, I want to wear this. Like, I don't care. Like, I think this is awesome. And just kind of having that attitude, bringing back in those aspects of your younger self that maybe, like, society kind of just, like, shut them down in you. Those are moments where you can go back into your past, go back into certain core memories, and bring that back here, right? And it's not that it never left. It never left you. It's rather just remembering it and honoring it and using it in your present. That was my daughter burping, if you heard that. But and then in terms of your future, like, if there is this woman or this man that that, like, in, I don't know, 10, 20 years, you're like, I cannot wait to be this person. Like, I can't wait to, even like having excitement about the aging process, and like really being like, wow, like when I'm 40 years old, like how wise I'm gonna be, and how just maybe anchored in certain things that feel so far away, and like visualizing yourself at that age. And you can begin to bring those qualities and those, I would say, just, they're like details, they're small details, like it literally could just be like your hairstyle, right? Like getting super crystal clear on these little details of what you believe is super far out, and you can bring it closer to this present now if you so choose. Um, but it's all about honoring where you are in the present moment, having grace for yourself, and really just being clear. Like there may be certain things where it will take more time, and that is okay. I think part of the process, and this is something that I've been learning, is that there's certain things that, although if I really wanted to, I can have it happen faster. In order for it to be at the level at which I truly want it to be grounded and in its full expression, it's going to require a little bit more time than I would. I don't want to say I would like, but I think there's points in where my human gets either super excited or super impatient, and just honoring the timing, the divine timing of everything that is orchestrated in your life. And if it hasn't happened yet, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that there's a specific time in your life that God has planned for you, in which that thing will express itself in physical form. Because everything is already here. And maybe you've heard this before. I'm not sure who originally said that, but like everything is already here. Everything is already here. It's just a matter of getting out of your head, getting out of all the, the mental blockages and the patterns and the beliefs and all of that stuff, so that what is already in the spiritual can come into the physical. So you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can touch it with your physical vessel, with your physical body. And yeah, I think I want to go into just that concept, right? The spiritual and the physical. This will be for you if you already have the acceptance that there is a spiritual and a physical. So the spiritual, there's a lot of fear around the spiritual realm, spirits, plural, because there is a lack of understanding around it. There is a lack of experience around it. And I want to clear that up for you guys. I want to clear it up, okay? Because if I was somebody who was walking through this world thinking that the only thing that exists is what I can physically see with my eyes, I would quite frankly be a mess. I would not want to wake up tomorrow. I would not have any desire to create and to show up in the world and to even pretend to have a smile on my face. And a lot of people are living that life because they firmly believe that the only thing that exists is what they can physically see with their eyes. Let that sink in for a moment. Let that sink in for a moment. We are in such a beautiful, transitional, expansive time right now that, talking about energy and spirits and even aliens and just things that may have been controversial in like 10 years ago, it is becoming more widely accepted and more widely talked about, to the point where maybe you did have these beliefs, maybe you always knew there was God, you always knew God existed, you always knew I was clearing something. You always knew that things can happen even if you don't see it in the moment. It's called faith. It's trust, You always knew this, but maybe you were in an environment or just around people that you couldn't express that. You couldn't express your curiosity. You couldn't express those interests. You couldn't express this innate knowing because of fear of rejection or fear of abandonment, or what else? And all the fears that can come up around showing up authentically while also having the courage to have disagreement or stand out. And this was something that I was facing my entire life to this point, because I've always knew that I was different. I knew this. And I'm sure you do too. You know that you're different. Or if you're hearing this and you don't really feel that, I'm telling you that there is something within you that makes you different. Like I said in the first video, each one of us is born with an individual set of characteristics, traits, interests, hobbies, perceptions, perspectives that make us uniquely us. And nobody can take that away from you. So, if you're watching this isn't a matter of trying to be different. This is more so embracing the qualities, embracing your unique you, your unique blueprint that is already designed and instilled within you. And using it. And this is your choice. Like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything in this world. You can be a couch potato your whole life. You can, not say the thing. You cannot go to the place. You cannot leave the relationship. You always have a choice. And I think that's something that I really want to highlight in this entire series, pretty much, that I'll be speaking on, is you always have a choice. And sometimes when I think about all the things that have come to my conscious awareness and things that I've uncovered or remembered, I think, you know, how simple life could have been for me if I just decided to take the blue pill. How easy would it have been for me to turn my cheek and just, keep going with the motions and just be asleep about it. How easier life could have been, you know? That saying that ignorance is bliss. There's truth to that. There's truth to that. But honey, you're here because you already took the red pill. Even if you don't want to admit it, you already took it. And you can't go back. You can't go back. As much as you want to deny it, as much as you want to push it to the side, as much as, maybe fears or hesitation or doubts, whatever comes up, know that that is not you. That is not your essence. That is not the truth of who you are. That is just the limitations and patterns and beliefs of who you think you needed to be or how you think you needed to function in order to survive. Because we could get into that. The most core basic need of any human, of having a body, is survival. So, yeah, it's gonna ruffle some feathers. Yeah, it's gonna scare the shit out of you. Yeah, it's going to, not always be easy. Yeah, it's gonna come with a lot of confronting your fears, like, dead on. But it also comes with so much more beauty. It comes with so much more joy, so much more just contentness with life. I have seen the darkest parts of myself. I have been hurt more times than I can count by people who I have loved the most in this life. And I can say with peace in my heart, with love in my heart, that I still love them. I still pray that they receive the best that this life has to offer. And I can move through this world with an open heart because I know that I was created for a reason. And even in all my imperfections, even in all the things that I may not be so proud of, I am loved so much that I have been given this body, I have been given this voice, I have been given everything that I need to be here, to physically be here. Because there was a time in my life where I did not want to be here. There was a time in my life where I was like, this is too much, God. This is too much for me to know all of this, to feel all of this, and to just show up like nothing's happened. There was that wounded part of me. I love you. There was that wounded part of me that didn't want to believe. That really in my opinion, take the easy way out. Because I thought, shit, if I'm not here, I don't gotta deal with all this bullshit. I don't gotta deal with, dealing with unhealthy people, or dealing with invasive thoughts, and dealing with just feeling the pain and the darkness and the heaviness of this world. There was many times that I felt that. And there was also many times where I was feeling and thinking and just spiraling in all of that in isolation, which added another layer to it, because as a human we need connection. And although I know and trust that my Heavenly Father is always with me, there were moments in my life where I physically did not have another person there with me to hold me in that really heavy just darkness. And, honestly, I have to take responsibility, because some of that was self-imposed. Some of that came from feelings of unworthiness, feelings of too muchness. So I just held it all by myself. And that takes a toll on someone. So if you're somebody right now who maybe you've gone through some heavy shit, and maybe you think that if you talk about this to some people, like, they're not going to get it. They're just not going to get it. And while that can be true, you can also first ask somebody, hey, can you hold space for me? And also use your judgment, use your discernment. No, okay, like, this is a heavy topic, but I think that it's necessary. If you are someone who has experienced sexual abuse, right? There is going to be a disconnect if you're sharing something that happened to you, something that was traumatic for you, to share that with somebody who has never experienced that. Because although there's a level of empathy that other person can have, sometimes you really just want to be heard and seen by someone who has experienced what you've experienced. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having that desire. And at the same time, you can come to a point where you can accept that truly the only person that you can fully be seen with is your Creator. Because there's always going to be, again, no one has the exact same perspective of life as you. No one has gone through the exact set of situations and circumstances as you. So there's always going to be this aspect where you may not feel seen or heard. And that is okay. And at the same time, when you are in a vulnerable state where you just fucking need somebody. You just need somebody to fucking be there and hold you and tell you that everything's gonna be okay. Use your discernment. Use your discernment on who that person can be. And sometimes it might not be someone you initially think of. I used to want it to be my family members that can do that for me. And what I realized is actually they can't. They can't do it for me because there's a complete disconnect in the level of at which I am experiencing and feeling and processing to what they're experiencing and what they're going through in their life and their focus and their, just what they want to focus on, right? So, and at the same time, like, certain people can be of service to you and you of service to them in different ways. Like, you're not going to go to one person for everything. And that I also learned fairly recently, because as someone who is an ambivert but also more so on the introverted side by design, but I can be extroverted as well, is that, and I know you guys watching this, you're like, this girl's not an introvert, but if I go in certain areas, in certain situations, I can be more introverted just because that's how I'm feeling that day. That's how I'm resonating with a certain situation or group or dynamic where I am more introverted. And that's also something that I've just come to love about myself, that I can be both. I'm not one or the other. I can be both, and I believe we can all be both. It just depends on who you're around and what you're feeling that day, and like just who you want to be. Like, you have that choice, you don't have to strictly be one thing, right? But anyways, yeah, I think that just really learning who is for you and who isn't. Like, that's something I also have been learning. And I'm so grateful to be learning all these lessons, and sometimes all at once, and it's like, boom, boot camp, like, but it's refreshing, and it's liberating to know again that you have choice. So, discernment, the art of discernment, which is really knowing what is good for you and what isn't good for you, or what you need and what you don't need, what you want and what you don't want, what is necessary and what is not necessary. Kind of said that, but you get the point, right? That's discernment. Being able to tell what is what, who is who, and what has been sent to you by God. And I'll definitely get into this in another video, because there's so much that I can speak on about this topic of discernment. But for this, I remembered I started this video with talking about my day. And I kind of went off on a big tangent, but to relate it back and actually talk about my day, it's almost 2:30 right now, so the day hasn't ended, but yeah, I started my day with prayer. I started my day with writing, and I started my day with gratitude, really. Gratitude. And that set my tone. This is the first time I believe that I'm praying more intentionally, with also the added layer of fasting. And it's been beautiful. It's been really beautiful to witness that. It's just, when you fast, it's different. It's different. So, yeah, I set the tone for my day, woke up my baby, played with her a bit. I had some workshops that I was attending, so it was really a day of learning, I would say, so far, and also teaching, being a student and being a teacher. I love that for me. I love that for me. And I'm really enjoying this, finding this dance. Now that I'm speaking on this, it's realizing how my teacher was craving, or ready, rather. My teacher was ready to teach. Duh. My teacher was ready to teach, and it's really nice to see this dance right now, daily. I'm gonna highlight that daily. Uh, and later today, in a few hours, I also am a youth leader, and I, um, lead group of kids in just um, holding space and really just hearing them and speaking with them and just being there, just showing up. I started doing this back in September, I believe, and really it was just for the intention of serving. And it's been so beautiful to do, because it has taught me so much about myself, and it's also really inspired me. I really think a lot of these kids have inspired me um, to just show up in completely new ways, and knowing that if you are someone right now who's like, you know, starting adulthood, right? Maybe you just started college, or maybe you you're even graduating high school, you're starting college, you're starting to kind of go into the world by yourself, starting to separate yourself a little bit more, trying to, just explore what your identity is, right? And I'm still doing that myself, but just do it all. Do it all. Like, do everything that lights a fire in you, that lights this like oomph, like I freaking love life. Like, that's probably something that I'll say for until the day I die, because it makes life a lot more enjoyable. And I think sometimes we can be hard on ourselves because we want to achieve certain things, and we want to, be a certain way, or be perceived a certain way, or, want to have the next best thing, or think that we have to be somewhere at a certain time, but really just enjoy this process. And your time will come when it needs to. Your time will come. It is a divinely orchestrated time, right? And really, the time is now. The time is now. Because right now, you are you. You are living your life. You are here now, right? So the time is now. That's all it is, really. So, yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. What I will announce, because I was like, should I announce it now? Should I announce it later? No, I'm going to announce it now. I am writing my first book, and I am extremely grateful and honored to be sharing this with you. I've been writing for probably about almost like a year. I would say like a year consistently, but this book has been in the works for several years. And I am specifically writing this for, for me, really. I'm writing this for me, for someone who's really going through all these things, maybe some of the things that I've spoken on, and just wanting to write to my younger self, or even myself if I didn't know about any of this, or I didn't receive any of this. Writing to that version of me that would have benefited and enjoyed really just seeing this perspective and anchoring this perspective, and just sharing more about my story, which I'm doing here with you, and you guys will get snippets of that, but really going into detail about that, and the tools and the just the different things that I've done to get to this point. So yeah, I would say more than 3/4 of the way done writing it right now, and still in process, still doing all the things, but it's coming. She's coming. So, y'all are the first to know. Thank you.